Hey boys and girls, today we're going to be looking at some Western art and we're going to be making a Western style art picture. First thing you need to know is that in a lot of Western art pictures they have backgrounds that have mountains, rivers, and we call that a landscape. A landscape is a traditional form of painting where artists would go into nature and they would draw and they would paint the landscape. When the camera came around, it took some of that away from the artist. The camera could do that really quickly, so artists, but there's still artists that make Western art pictures, and we're going to look at a few of those. So everybody can agree on this. This is a painting of a horse, so that's an option for you. You can paint a horse, you can paint a cowboy, you can paint a Native American. In this picture, there is no landscape in the background, it's just paint, right? Different kinds of brush strokes and paint, but you can definitely tell it's a horse. So, but most Western pictures are going to have some kind of a landscape. A lot of times, also, they tell stories. They tell stories in the artwork, okay? So like this one tells a story. It tells a story about this baby calf that has gotten away, and the cowboy had caught up to it, and he's probably going to send it back home, okay? So a lot of times native Western art pictures or Native American pictures are going to tell a kind of a story. And we're going to look at a few stories that are in the artwork, okay? So I kind of told you about that story. Let's look at the next one. This story is not as much a story, but it is definitely about landscape, and it is about painting, and you can see these reindeer are coming out here possibly to find food, since it looks pretty snowy back there, so maybe they're coming over here to the foreground, we call this the foreground, to possibly find some food. But this is definitely what we would consider a Western style picture because of the landscape and because of the subject matter, what the painting is about with the reindeer. Here we have a Native American, and here's a story here. We have thunder in the background. I mean, lightning that you can see. I'm assuming thunder. You can see the dark clouds. He's got his, what looks like an arrow. It looks like he's ready to go hunting, or maybe he's doing something else that involves fighting. So we're not really 100% sure, but there's definitely a story, and also there's a mood. The artist has created this mood, with this Native American and the environment that he's in. It's cloudy, it's gonna rain, there's a storm, and he's got an intense look on his face. He's fixing to go to battle or maybe to go hunting. Here we have a wagon, and this is a very warm picture, and we know that because of the colors, the yellow, orange. Whenever you see those kind of colors, yellow, red, and orange, we consider them warm colors. And so there's a story here too. Also, where's the driver for this horse? I mean, this carriage. Usually you would need a horse and a carriage, and neither one of those, I mean, you would need a person to be driving it, but they're not here. So we're kind of like, what's going on? Did they get too hot? Did they not make it out of the desert? We don't really know. So, like I was saying, art can tell a story, and let's look at a few more. Here, possibly they're trading. The story is they're possibly trading. They're talking to each other. Maybe they're trading a horse. We don't really know, but there's definitely a story. A couple more here. Here's a Native American, possibly thinking about how he's going to get back to the other side. Now let's look at some kid examples so we can get you started on your art project. Okay, there's one more here. Okay, so here we have a kindergartner that drew his horse and the cowboy up there on top, and there's some other figures here, some other people. Then he painted it. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna draw a horse, cowboy, a Native American, deer, something that interests you in a way, but keep it with a Western kind of theme. Here's another little girl's artwork. She did a couple of horses, and I really like the way she drew this. Looks like a little pig pen or something, but it's like you're looking at it from the top, which is pretty interesting. And then the last one here, which is, you know, look at the size of that horse he's riding. That's a big horse this guy's riding. So, and this person did a nice job of coloring and painting all of the background. So you're going to do the same, okay? You're going to draw your Western picture, color it real nice and neat, or paint it if you can, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. Thanks.